Welcome to Reality Tea Times 2, the podcast where we discuss all the trash reality TV we love to hate. I'm Tanika, and today we are going to be discussing The Ultimatum, Queer Love. So, I don't know how many episodes we're going to be doing in this episode. Um, we'll kind of see how it goes, just because always the first few episodes can be really tough to make sure we have a long enough episode. It does get juicy, but so there might be more, but I'll kind of figure that out as we go, and kind of let you guys know as we go where we're at, if we're going to be doing more or whatever. But again, there's no ads, no nothing on this episode. Any information you want in terms of Patreon or anything like that, it will be in the show notes, but we're not going to be doing any ads. It's just strictly Netflix. That's how I do things here. So that's what we're going to be doing. So let's get into the very first episode for The Ultimatum Queer Love. So let's meet the couples. Now, I don't remember if I have everybody here. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I think I missed a couple, but I'll kind of mention them. I don't know if I caught how long they've been together, but we'll get to it. So we first have AJ and Brittany. They're our only Black couple in this group. They've been together for 5 years. We have Marie and Mel. They've been together for 4 years. Haley and Pilar, they've been together for the longest. They've been together for 10 years. And we'll kind of talk more about that. But Pilar, at least for Pilar, I can't speak on Haley, but this is her first same-sex relationship. She came out to her parents while in this relationship with Haley. So, that's kind of that. We have Bridget and Kyle. Kyle's the one who issued the ultimatum. So I don't know if I caught that either. So let's quickly go through who issued what as well before I finish this. So AJ and Brittany. Brittany's the one who issued the ultimatum. Out of Marie and Mel, Marie is the one who issued the ultimatum. Out of Haley and Pilar, I believe Haley was the one who issued the ultimatum. Bridget and Kyle, I think Bridget's the one who issued the ultimatum. I don't know if it's Kyle. Might have been Kyle. I think I'm wrong. It's Kyle. Kyle's the one who issued. So yes, Kyle issued. They've been together for 2.5 years. We have Ashley and Marita. They've been together for 3 years. And I believe Ashley is the one who issued the ultimatum. I'm sure I have everybody. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Who am I missing, y'all? Who am I missing? Oh, Megan and Dana. I don't know how long they've been together now. I can't remember that, but I believe it was Dana who issued the ultimatum. Similar reasons for Pilar and Megan in terms as to why they're a little bit hesitant. Similar reasons. But anyways, we'll talk about that later. So for Ashley and Marita, Ashley is kind of like, I feel like Marita has a little bit of a wandering eye. And I can tell right now Marita's kind of the woohoo girl in the group. She does grow on me, but she's a little bit of the woohoo girl because she literally says in this moment, but what if my needs can be met somewhere else too? I mean, listen, no, wait. If that is what you want to do, by all means, please go do it. But you need to be open with your girlfriend about that because, but if she doesn't want to do that, like, it's incredible. Look at my needs somewhere else too. I wonder if I were to tell my boyfriend that, he would literally look at me like I have 2 heads. He's like, I appreciate everything that you do, Mr. Marita's saying, but I feel like you could do more. Wow. And you know what? Initially, I'm just like, wow, that's harsh criticism. But I think what maybe Marita should be saying is that there are ways that I need to be shown love. I need you to express it to me. You're not doing those things, although Ashley thinks that she is, but for Marita, it's not. And honestly, seeing Marita in her trial marriage, we'll get to who that's with, I'm not gonna say yet, but who she ends up with and who kind of shows her, like, what that could be. I don't think Burita has, like, huge expectations. She literally says there's no bar, you know? There's no goal post, there's nothing, like, anything. I'm good with anything. So the fact that, like, Marita seems to be pretty flexible in terms of, like, what she wants, because she says she is a hopeless romantic, um, whatever it is that she kind of needs and wants from her partner, it doesn't seem like a lot. So what does that tell me then about Ashley? Like, she's not even doing the bare minimum. So we'll get to that later. We have Joanna back, Joanna Garcia Swisher. She's back, and I'm so happy because I was worried. I'm like, is she gonna come back? 'Cause I actually like her as I feel she should do all the ultimatums, honestly. But although I do like the South African couple as well. But um basically I just don't want Nick and Vanessa because that's what it comes down to. But I was a little sorry if y'all can hear my bird in the background. He's just getting really excited. But yeah, I was just kind of like, I hope she's back, and she is, thank God. So the couples are having their final nights together. There's not really much to really talk about with the final nights. I'm not gonna go into it. It's just a lot of the same thing you always see in all of these scenes. So it's fine. Megan says, I struggle because this is kind of her thing, which is again is very similar to Pilar. So I'll kind of talk about both of them in this moment. But Megan says like she struggles with the idea of, doing the finality of marriage because she's like, I am Arab. She comes from a Lebanese culture. And she says, like, my family doesn't want me with a woman in any religion. um, you are kind of expected to do things the way it's supposed to be done. You're supposed to marry a man. Man's supposed to marry a woman. You're supposed to then have children. Like this is kind of like what you're expected to do in religion. So, and in those cultures, right? Um, but that is a huge struggle for her, and that's very similar to Pilar as well. I don't know if it's necessarily religious reasons, but her family also struggles with the fact that she is a lesbian. I mean, I think she says she's lesbian. I don't know if she actually full out says, but I think she labels herself as that. And her family struggles with the idea of that as well. Like she said she had to literally pretend to be in a relationship with men so that they wouldn't know she is interested in women. I'm curious to know whether or not this is while she's with Haley, which is really sad because then there's the hidden aspect of things. I'm just a friend. Like that's a lot. And I feel for people who have to go through this because me with my straight privilege, I don't have to deal with that. So it's really sad. So then we see Mel and Marie. Marie's, like I said, is the one that issued. Mel explains, I had a childhood where 4 different women were called mom. So I don't know the situation with her mother, whether she passed away when she was young or what, but her dad, I guess, was in a relationship with women, multiple of them. They would be in her life. She would see them as her mother. And then dad and that woman would break up and then they're gone. And she's like, and then they're no longer my mom because they've disappeared. They're not coming around anymore. I can only imagine the trauma that is associated with that. And not only that, the trauma that is associated with long-term relationships and probably in turn marriage. So that's a huge struggle for her. And I totally get that. Um, and it's easier said than done, but to kind of say what your parents' relationships are like do not directly reflect what your relationship is going to look like. But that's easier said than done, right? Um, so then we're done with the heavy. We're heading into the speed dating. That's the first thing we do. Marita is a whole lot. Like woohoo. Dana is first dating Mel. And Dana explains, Megan, kind of similar to Mel, I guess, kind of has like her chosen family. And or I guess no, I might be getting confused here. I think Dana has like her chosen family where she kind of hopes like Megan maybe will take more and or take more from her quote unquote chosen family than her blood family who isn't giving her what she really needs here. So I think that's kind of what I'm trying to say here. Pilar and Megan talk, and they both get the whole family issues, which I've just mentioned. They're very similar, the reasons why things are holding them back. Pilar says that she took 8 years to come out, and she's been with Haley for 10. So of those 10 years, 8 of them she was hiding who she is. And that is so sad. She said it has been now 3 years since she came out that they have not spoken to her. Now, I will never understand how parents or any other family could collectively decide, I am not going to talk to this person anymore just because they love maybe differently than I do. I will never understand that because at the end of the day, who my children, my future children decide to love, despite the fact that I just want to make sure you're with the person who respects you, who takes care of you, who respects you, and who isn't going to hurt you, whether that is physically, emotionally, verbally, whatever. That's all I care about. The gender of that person, I could give a fuck. Sure, it's maybe going to take me a minute because I'm not used to necessarily being around people who are interested in the same sex. I have been, mind you, but I honestly, unfortunately, have not been exposed to that. So it might take me a minute, but that's all it's going to take. It's going to be a minute, but that's something that I will never put on my children. That's going to be for me to internalize. That is not on my children. I'm going to make sure my children know that they're loved, they are respected, and I don't give a fuck. Like, that's what it's going to come down to. I will never understand parents or family members who just are like, I'm not going to get involved in that. Like, what's it to you? Anyways, Pilar is talking to Kyle, and Haley she explains here, which I said before, is her first experience with a woman. She was dating men before. But my question is, was she dating them during or pretending to anyways? Like, I don't know. Then we see AJ really enjoying her single life. She's like, it took me a second, but she's talking to this one and that one. Like, she's really into it. She's giving me, honestly, in this moment, she was giving me fuck girl vibes for sure. But not to give anything away yet, we'll get to it. But would you know, like, she's like the one person who, yeah, is jumping headfirst into this experience, but she's still doing it in such a way where she's still respecting the relationship she came in with. There are certain people who don't do that. And we'll get to it. I'll get to it. So, anyways, AJ's enjoying life. Brittany is not loving seeing AJ flirting because she's like, she is a flirt. She's charismatic. She's, she got swag. I mean, I see it. But she's not loving it. So, but anyway. We see Mel talking to Brittany. And AJ apparently wants to bring, if not more, to the same table. So that's kind of what Brittany's saying. Like, her thing is, I wonder if she's a Scorpio. Her thing is, I've kind of hit these milestones in my life, that maybe AJ has not quite. And for AJ, her biggest thing is that she wants to be able to do those things before marriage. Gosh, she gives me Scorpio vibes. I swear she must be a Scorpio. The reason I say this is because I am too with a Scorpio who felt the same way. And it's like, you can't make these achievements in the same way. Or not in the same way. Make these achievements before going ahead and doing things that are important because times are ticking for certain things and whatever. So she gives me Scorpio vibes. Anyways, then we kind of were learning a little bit more about Marita and her hopeless romantic side. And she says, I'm such a hopeless romantic that I'm over here like Alexander Hamilton writing a 90-page story to Ashley. I'm like, 90 pages? Like here's a 30 itemized list of disagreements. Sweet Jesus. Oh god, like, that's ridiculous. Um, at the night portion now after they do the speed dating, we see Dana and Megan are talking. So again, just as a reminder for those who maybe didn't watch the episodes, those 2 are the couples that came in, or the couple that came in. Megan is really struggling to connect with people here. I think she's was really in her head. She doesn't really wanna be here. She, I think, is happy with how things are. Obviously, Dana is not. She's just really struggling with connecting here. Kyle and Bridget are both vibing with Pilar. Now again, reminder, Kyle and Bridget are the ones that came in together, and Pilar's in the middle of the 2 of them. This is amazing. They're like, that's weird." They both have kind of similar situations. Like, the biggest thing I think for Pilar is, like, should I be with someone who is maybe a little bit more mellow than I am? Or should I be with Bridget, who is very similar to her, wanting to do spontaneous things, try new things? There's, like, this similarity, I guess, between the 2 of them. AJ and Marie both are from Brooklyn, so they vibe on that. Then we see AJ and Brittany talking, and Brittany's also struggling. They don't struggle, but Brittany's struggling because she's like, "Am I an idiot? Like, should I be here? Like, I'm good. I have a good thing going. Am I really gonna, like, uproot my relationship here?" She's struggling with that too. So Megan goes to Dana's room after everything's been done. She's like, "I'm having a really hard time letting go. Like, why are we doing this? Like, I don't think I can get past certain things." And I guess her thing is, if you were to have sex with someone here, I want to be able to get past that. So why put myself through that right now and let's just go. Let's just leave. But Dana doesn't want to leave. Dana doesn't want to leave. Dana's like, we agreed we're doing this. I don't want to back out of this now. So like, I don't want to do that. So that's what's kind of going on here. So yeah, I mean, I guess we will be finding out in a second what's going to happen because we're going to do episode 2 in this episode. But I'm just like, to me, Megan, because I really like Megan, for me, it's like, girl, I'd rather know now. If your person is willing to go and have sex with someone all willy nilly, which this is what I'm here for, I want them to have sex. Um, because I can rely on the women to go have sex with each other, whereas the straight people are boring as fuck. Coming from a straight person, but it's this is what I want. This is what made season 1 amazing. Let's be real, because people were having sex. Okay, um, but that's for me as a person who's watching the entertainment. As a person in it, I'd rather know that my person is going to go willy nilly have sex with somebody behind my back, and I'd rather know that now. Because then if I know you're gonna do that and that's against what I want you to do, there are boundaries and you're gonna cross it, I'd rather know, because then I know you're not it for me. I'm not gonna waste my time no more. I'd rather know that. Don't run from it. To me, especially how things play out, to me, it makes me think Megan knew that that was a very likely possibility that Dana would potentially have sex with somebody, and it was scaring her because she knew that means breakup. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. It's interesting to kind of see that in hindsight. Because again, like, I'm on episode 7, but like that's in hindsight, it's like, wow. But yeah, that's it for episode 1. We're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll hop in with episode 2. And I'm back. So let's do episode 2. And this will most likely be the last episode that we do in this one. So Megan is, like I said in the last episode, was ready to walk away from the experience. She's like, this is too much. But Dana says, like, we made a commitment. You made a commitment to me. Like, this is what we're doing. She's like, I want you to try. And Megan agrees to try. You know what? Again, I'm only on episode 7, or just finished episode 6. I think. What episode am I on? I don't remember. But I'm, like, starting a new episode, whatever episode that is. I'm just going into, like, the completing the changeover. That's where I'm at. I'm kind of happy Megan was able to be convinced to do this for whatever, for, if at the very least was able to see what it can be like to be fulfilled in a relationship completely. Um, so yeah, they agree to do it. So we got more dates the next day. So AJ's loving her options. Right now, her options are as follows because she has more than one. She has Marita. She has Maria. Is it Maria or Marie? Whatever. Maria, Marie, whatever. She has her. Bridget is also another option as well. I think that's it, if I'm correct. But she has like 3 options going here. Like she's, yeah. We kind of then hear more on the woohoo side of things. Marita actually had a record deal. Like she had a record deal. Good for her. She's like, I had a record deal, but now I work in sales. She kind of was like, says like I wasn't, living that life and now here I am. And AJ is kind of like, I would support like whatever you would want to do. So, you know, if that means you want to go and, you know, whatever, then, let's do that. You want to go out there and do that again? Let's do that again. I wanted to hear her sing. That would have been cool. But anyways, so she then Marita starts talking more about these scars that she has. And I don't know if they're everywhere, but we do see them on like on her like chest area, like her collarbone area. Um, it triggered the fuck out of me because I have not scars, but I have situations on my skin too that is like, I don't know if necessarily they're genetic, but something that I get flare-ups during the warmer months, and it's something I've been dealing with for the better part of 20 years. So I was like, "Ooh, hate that." But I hate it for her because this is a little different than what I deal with. But she deals with she's like, it's a genetic condition that she deals with. Her dad has this as well. It's called keloids. And they basically look like scars. Like they look like, trigger warning, but it does look like if she were to be self-harming herself. That is so sad. And she's like, I would hide them. I was ashamed of them. But she's like, I learned to love myself through them. Like they're not going away. There's nothing I can really do to get rid of them. Um, so this is it. Like there's nothing I can do about it. So I have to learn to love myself, and she does. And that is really good. Really good. Like I don't know if it's something she could surgically remove, but she probably wouldn't be able to do that. It's not kind of like Chantel who decides to surgically remove her birthmark. Um, but I feel for her. So Bridget, we move on from that. She's like, I would love to have sex every day. Why not? Do you, boo? Have sex every day? Go ahead and do that. But she's like, I would love to have sex every day. AJ's more like maybe once a week. Us things that you get comfortable with each other. You're like, sure. It's going to be more in the beginning, but regular type situation. But AJ's mom, apparently, she's like, she's open about talking about sex with me to the point where she will literally say, so when you eat my daughter's pussy out, what? Do you make her come? Jesus. Um, Boundaries. That's too much. Like, none ya. Trust me, I'm good, but none ya. We then see Mel and Brittany on a date, and Mel says, like, I almost died when I was born. Now, Mel is not one of my favorite people. I wanted to like her. She's not one of my favorite people. But in this moment, I really felt for her. At this point, honestly, I didn't dislike her or anything. The dislike happens later. But the the so at this point, I'm just figuring everybody out, but I felt for her in this moment. She says She almost died when she was born. She doesn't explain exactly what was going on, but she says that she now deals with chronic pain because of what happened. So I struggle with doing like most things. And she struggles with the fact that she doesn't want someone to be like forced, I guess, into dealing with that. Because she thinks like if I marry someone, they're gonna be stuck for life with this thing that I deal with. She's like, I'm not gonna live as long as everyone else here. And that is really sad. That is really sad. I don't know what she dealt with. I don't know what she deals with now. Um, but that is really sad. Um, but also like I think who was it here that was we're talking to? Brittany. I think she kind of says to her, like, you are deserving of it though. You're deserving of love, no matter what you've dealt with. You shouldn't limit yourself because you think like you're gonna die sooner than others or you're gonna be really bad off at one point. You shouldn't limit yourself because of it. Live life to the fullest. And if the fullest means going and getting married or having kids or whatever, go do it. Because you don't want to die with not with regrets. No one wants to do that. So we find out that Ashley is really cool because she's a food scientist. She actually makes like different foods or whatever, or something around those lines, or she's involved in the manufacturing of some foods. And she says, I've made protein bars. Like I've walked into a grocery store, I'm like, huh, I made those. That is cool. But Megan and Ashley are, vibing. It's great for Megan in particular because we saw her struggling. So I really like seeing her kind of vibing with somebody. So we have this cocktail party. It's the night before the choice. We're going to have some fun. That's what we're going to do. But there's going to be drama because this is why we're here. Dana ends up confronting Mel because Dana and Mel have been kind of vibing with each other. So she goes and she kind of confronts her. She's like, when we're in a group together, like, you don't acknowledge me. Like, when we're alone, like, you'll find, like, whatever. She's like, I feel like you're all about Brittany because she's also vibing with Brittany. She's like, I feel like you're just all about Brittany. Like, don't play with me. Because, like, when we saw at this point, saw Mel with Brittany, it really did look really comfy. Like, this is kind of where I started to think, oh, Mel, you player. Okay, I see you. I see you, girl. You're playing. But it felt like that. And then Dana, a little cuckoo, was kind of like, you're ignoring me. Like, you're not entitled to her attention at any given time. Like, that is, I felt like in this moment, it was weird. Like, the way you're acting. Like, is this how you are with everybody? Or is it because you're really into Mel and this is who you want to match with for whatever reason? Like, it was just, it was interesting for many reasons. But then initially, it's kind of like, oh, you're cuckoo. Okay. um, and then she goes as far as to say, which is again, are we okay? But she says, I will knock your food truck into the river if you play me. Wow. Okay. Drive the food truck somewhere else so she doesn't find it. So then Megan and AJ are talking. And Megan, I guess, seeing the conversation between Mel and Dana is kind of like to AJ, how do you feel about Mel? Because again, Megan and AJ's girlfriends are vibing with Mel. Both of them are kind of on the fence because they're like, I don't really know. It seems like she's really quick to jump into anything with anyone here. Like, that seems really off to both of them. So they're on guard, which maybe they need to be, or at least one of them needs to be. So more on that later. Bridget and Marita, we see them talking, and Bridget finds out through talking to Marita, because let's not forget, AJ is vibing with 3 people here: Marita, Bridget, Maria, or Marie, whatever. So Bridget finds out through Marita, who they're kind of talking about, like AJ, that AJ might be telling everyone the same damn thing here. That's making her feel really weird. Like she's like, what's authentic? What are you like? Is our connection authentic? Is Marita's not? Like, what is going on here? That's gonna come back to bite Bridget a little bit. I'll talk about it more then, but it's actually we'll get to it. So she's struggling with that. She's like, I don't know if I really want to get involved with this. And then Bridget, because she's seeing that AJ is vibing with so many different people here, and I'm most likely not going to get picked, the only other person I'm connecting with here is Pilar. She goes and she talks to, I think it was Ashley. I think it was Ashley to kind of like figure her out. But at this point, it's like the night before the choice. It's a little too late for that. But anyways, we're now at the choice. And I'm not going to go through every little thing here, but it is brought up about Bridget and how she's feeling about AJ. So Bridget tells AJ, like, I feel like you're having the same conversations with everyone here. But here's what I'll say. The difference between like AJ and let's say, I don't know, Matthew from Love is Blind, who was kind of vibing with more than one person on his season. That was a season that he was vibing with AD. That's the same guy, in case no one remembers. The difference between someone like him versus someone like AJ is he was intentionally trying to plant his seed in whatever would grow. Whereas AJ, I really don't think she's necessarily doing that. Do I think she's playing the field? Absolutely. But that's kind of the whole point with this. It's not like a Love is Blind where you are intentionally trying to find someone who you could marry at the end of this. Whereas with this, it's like, okay, who can I get the best experience from so I can learn more about what my partner needs and what I need in order to get married to someone at the end of this? It's a little different. So I don't think AJ really was intentionally trying to manipulate anybody here, nor do I think, like, look at Mel versus AJ. Mel to me made me, and I will say, AJ initially made me think the same thing, that maybe she's trying to find someone she can have sex with. But Mel from the beginning, and it never ends, to me, it feels like she's just trying to find someone who she can have sex with. And I don't know, AJ does grow on me, but I still didn't really think that AJ was really being manipulative in the way that Bridget's trying to make it seem. She's just vibing with more than one person. And like, again, when you have a lot of more femme presenting women in this group of people who appear to me to be more interested in being with more mask is the right term, I think, masculine looking women, that's kind of more what they're into. There's not a lot to choose from. You have AJ, you have Mel, Megan too. Well, actually, I think they're pretty split down the middle. The only ones who are completely femme couple was Haley and Pilar. Everyone else, oh yeah. So, but again, when I think of like who, if I was a lesbian, would more gravitate towards, it's literally AJ or Mel. So it's like I a lot of the women seem to be gravitating towards those two women. So it's I don't think that though means AJ was being manipulative. I don't. So interestingly enough, I'm actually on AJ's side. Marita, well, I think before we get to the picks here, AJ does kind of say, she's like, but of course I'm going to have potentially the same conversations with people, or roughly the same conversations with people, because I'm only going to tell people certain things, you know. We only have so much time here. Like, that's maybe surface level shit she's telling people. So it's like, of course I'm going to have these same type of conversations, but does that mean that I'm being manipulative? No, it doesn't. So ultimately from that though, Bridget's out. Bridget's like, I'm good. Marita picks AJ. And then I see what you're doing here. ask AJ if she's picking Marita. We bring Marie into the mix and ask her who she's picking, and she's also picking AJ. She kind of says like, I felt good with you, AJ. It felt effortless with you. And then that's basically where she chooses AJ. AJ, girly, are you ready to make your choice for who you're going to pick here? She says, I am. So who do you choose? Well, y'all have to wait till we go to the third episode where she will make her choice, and which is going to be my second episode of who she'll make her choice. So that is it for this episode, y'all. I will be doing the next episode will be Ultimatum. I don't know what episodes those will be yet. If it'll be 3 and 4 or just 3. But we will go to that will be the next episode. So you will get an answer. You just have to wait for it. But in case you didn't watch the episode. But yeah, guys, that is it. That is it for me. That is it for this episode. So if you like what you heard, please rate, review the podcast on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Also, don't forget that you can also share us with everyone in your life if you really love this. And I do want to read those reviews. I'm definitely getting 5-star ratings, but I want to read those reviews. So send me those reviews and I will read those 4 and 5-star reviews on the podcast. Also, we're on every one of your favorite podcast apps. Every one of them, including you can find us on YouTube at Reality Tea Times 2. If you want to connect with us, you can do so by going to either Facebook or Instagram at Reality Tea Times 2. You can also find us on Twitter, TikTok, Reddit at Reality Tea Times 2 Pod. We also have our email, which is at realityteatimes2 at hotmail.com. Definitely want to hear from you guys. And we also have our new website where you can listen to all of these episodes. You can review the podcast on there as well. You can connect with me in any way, all the stuff. It's all there. And you can find me there at www.realityteatimes2, all spelled out, .podpage.io. It's there. And don't forget, I also have my other podcast with my friend Mikkel, Next Take Podcast, where we talk about all kinds of different topics. But you can find us on any of your favorite podcast apps over there as well. Or you can also go to YouTube and you go to Next Take Podcast, as well as our website, which is solo.to/Next Take Podcast. So yeah, there's that, and that's basically that. And again, don't forget, if all of this information is overwhelming, we do have all of the links, everything in our show notes. But that is it for now, guys. Thanks. Bye.